Over the years, the crime of mortgage fraud has become more sophisticated and financially damaging to its victims. Mortgage fraud can be perpetrated by borrowers, lenders, or other professionals in the real estate field. Mortgage fraud is defined as knowingly misrepresenting or omitting material information during the mortgage lending process with the intent to cause financial harm to another party. There are generally two main motives when mortgage fraud occurs. The criminal is either looking to make a profit or attempting to acquire or maintain ownership of real property. Mortgage for profit is usually perpetrated by financial industry professionals, such as bank officers, appraisers, or mortgage brokers. They use their insider knowledge and authority to commit or help facilitate the fraud. Those perpetrators abuse the mortgage lending process to steal cash and equity from lenders or homeowners. Generally, the perpetrator seeking to maintain or acquire housing is a borrower using fraud as their means to an end. This might be due to their credit or employment history being a negative factor on a loan application, or the borrower may misrepresent their income and assets information on a loan application and entice an appraiser to manipulate a property's appraised value. Instances of mortgage fraud are investigated by the FBI and are punishable by up to 30 years in federal prison or $1 million in fines, or both. The FBI will generally prioritize investigations of fraud for profit cases. One of the most common types of mortgage fraud are foreclosure rescue schemes. In these cases, a perpetrator will approach a homeowner who's defaulted on a mortgage loan and offer to pay the loan while helping the borrower stay in their home. The criminal will convince the homeowner to transfer control of the property to them as collateral, and then the homeowner is either offered new financing or the ability to remain in the house and have a chance to buy it back later. The perpetrators profit by selling the property to an investor or straw buyer, creating equity using a fraudulent appraisal and stealing the seller proceeds or fees paid by the homeowners. In some of these scams, the homeowners are told they can pay rent for at least a year and repurchase the property once their credit has been reestablished. In reality, though, the perpetrators intentionally fail to make the mortgage payments, and usually the property goes into foreclosure and the homeowner is evicted since they've lost the title to the property to the criminals. Obviously, this is the worst-case scenario for any homeowner, and just one example of why it's important to always be on the lookout for improper practices. Some other common types of mortgage fraud include loan modification schemes, illegal property flipping, builder bailout or condo conversions, equity skimming, silent second loans, and heir loans. Identity theft is another way individuals are often targeted by crooks. This is when a buyer fraudulently obtains financing using a victim's information, such as social security numbers, birth dates, addresses, W-2s, bank records, and tax returns. The criminal is then able to falsify the property ownership records and obtain a fraudulent mortgage on a property they neither own nor occupy. There are numerous laws at both the state and federal levels that aim to reduce instances of mortgage fraud. To help combat this, authorities have taken big strides in requiring loan officers to have licenses and take continuing education. Additionally, some professional organizations such as Mortgage Bankers Association and National Association of Mortgage Brokers have codes of conduct and best practices that are peer monitored to enforce compliance. Despite these laws, mortgage fraud does still happen, and innocent people are affected all across the country. As a real estate professional, you should always be vigilant when working with clients during the mortgage loan process and on the lookout for red flags that point to fraudulent mortgage practices.